Everyone thinks drone warfare is about overwhelming numbers, cheap machines launched in swarms until defenses snap. But what if the real shift isn't in the attack, but in the ability to hunt? In Ukraine, a new system is quietly appearing on the battlefield. It's called Octopus, and it isn't designed to strike tanks or buildings. It's built to stalk other drones mid-flight, a hunter drone made to intercept. To see why this matters, we need to understand the three aerial threats Ukraine deals with every day. The first threat is missiles, ballistic and hypersonic. These used to be described as unstoppable, but over the past 3 years, we've watched something surprising happen. Patriot batteries consistently bring them down. Not perfectly and not cheaply, but reliably enough that the unstoppable label doesn't really hold anymore. That problem isn't solved, but it's not the biggest one. The second threat is glide bombs. A Russian jet drops a dumb bomb fitted with fins, and it glides 15 or 20 miles before crashing down. You can't jam it, you can't redirect it. The only way to stop glide bombs is to keep the launch aircraft far from the front line. A constant, risky push and pull involving Ukrainian fighters, Patriot systems, and careful positioning. Ukraine has had partial success here, but it remains a difficult, ongoing fight. But the third threat, the one that breaks the math, is the Shahed, a cheap, mass-produced drone originally built in Iran and now manufactured in Russia. They cost anywhere from $20,000 to $90,000, depending on the version. They carry almost no sensors, no onboard intelligence, no ability to adjust. They're programmed with coordinates, launched, and they fly until they crash. That's why strikes on schools, hospitals, or apartments aren't mistakes. Those coordinates were entered deliberately. What makes Shaheds dangerous is scale. Russia can build and launch them in large waves, hundreds at a time, and none of the traditional defenses scale with them. Shooting one down with a missile often costs more than the Shahed itself. Relying on machine guns works only for small, fixed areas. You can't blanket a country with gun nests. So Ukraine needed something different, a way to turn the cost equation upside down. That's where the Octopus comes in. Unlike a Shahed, it carries basic compute power, a small GPU for decision-making, a microcontroller for fast reactions, and cheap memory to hold targeting data. The entire chip package might cost under $60. And because the Octopus only needs to intercept incoming drones, not travel hundreds of miles, it can be smaller, lighter, and far cheaper than the weapon it's trying to stop. When a wave of Shaheds approaches, Octopus drones can be launched to meet them. Each becomes a roaming interceptor. If it misses one target, it loops and tries again. Ukraine says it is already producing these drones at scale, with reported monthly output crossing 1,000 units. This matters because drones on the battlefield have traditionally fallen into two categories. The first are the dumb kamikazes, like the Shaheds, that simply hit their programmed coordinates. The second are remotely piloted drones that rely on a constant data link, which makes them easy to jam. Octopus sits in a different space, smart enough to hunt independently, cheap enough to lose, agile enough to ignore basic jamming, and built specifically for a role that didn't exist a few years ago: drone-on-drone combat. It also pairs naturally with something Ukraine has already become known for: electronic warfare. Ukrainian jammers are widely regarded as some of the most effective in the world, often outperforming those used by NATO itself. A hunter drone operating alongside strong jamming creates a layered defense that didn't exist at the start of this war. The takeaway is simple. Octopus isn't a miracle weapon, and it won't solve every threat in the sky. But it represents something important: the moment when cheap, mass-produced drones stopped being a one-way advantage. The battlefield is beginning to learn how to hunt them back. If cheap drones can be countered this way, what does the next shift in warfare look like to you?